Okay, good morning everybody. I take the opportunity to welcome you in my lesson, which is proudly sponsored by Edify Uganda, Christian Schools Owners Association, and ITAO, that is ICT Teachers Association Uganda. In our today's lesson, the class I'm going to talk to is primary 3 literacy 1, and I'm going to have a look at plants in the environment. In our today's lesson, we are going mainly to look at plants in the environment, and most especially the common plants. The plants we are going to look at, they are the main plants which we find in our environment, the common ones. I know there are a variety, there are very many, but for us we are looking at plants. When we talk about plants, we talk about a living thing with the following characteristics. One, plants are so special that plants make their own food. Because these plants have chlorophyll, and that chlorophyll enables them to make their own food. Some of these living organisms that we have in environment, most of them, or almost all of them, depend on plants. Since plants manufacture their own food, and that process of manufacturing food is called photosynthesis. That is what makes plants to be so special. Let's look at the groups of plants. Plants mainly are divided into two groups. One, it is called flowering plants, and another one, it is called non-flowering plants. So mainly those are the two main groups of plants that we have in the environment: the flowering plants and the non-flowering plants. Now let's have a look at this. What are the flowering plants? Okay, flowering plants are plants which bear flowers. If you don't want to use the word bear, you can use the word have, and therefore you can say flowering plants are plants which do have flowers. But using the word bear may be the best option here. So therefore we can say that flowering plants are plants which bear flowers. Plants with flowers. Together, let's go on and you look at some of the examples. Some of the examples of flowering plants. Plants which bear flowers. I've tried to give a few examples like maize, beans, tomatoes, peas, but the variety that we know. Together, we have got pumpkins, we have got sugar canes, we have got some, even there are some plants which are mainly flowers. You just call them flowers, so they just do bear flowers. Together, so I know that we have very many we can list here, as long as you know that that plant, when it grows up, it will have to bear the flowers. and it is from these flowers that helps them to reproduce, since all living organisms reproduce. Mainly, most of the plants reproduce by means of seeds, and these seeds are gotten from flowers. Therefore, the flowering plants reproduce by means of what? Of seeds. The examples I've named a few: maize, beans, tomatoes, and peas. Let's go on and we look at non-flowering plants. What are the non-flowering plants? The non-flowering plant is the opposite of the flowering plant. To give an example or to define what non-flowering plants are, non-flowering plants are plants which do not bear flowers. The plants which do not have what? Flowers are called non-flowering plants. These plants are there. They are green in color. They reproduce by means of either seeds, or they may reproduce by means of spores. Now, we have gotten very many examples of non-flowering plants, like what you are seeing in my picture there. It is an example of a flowering plant. Sorry, a non-flowering plant. This tree is so common in most of the compounds, and it is an example of a non-flowering plant, and it is called a coniferous tree. Okay, so we are saying that non-flowering plants are plants which do not bear flowers. For them, they don't have flowers. Like an example of the tree you are seeing there, it will grow, it will reproduce, but will not have what? Flowers. Okay, class, let's move on and see. Let's move on here. We have other examples of non-flowering what? Plants. And example number one, we have got the ferns, conifers, mosses, and liverworts. All together, we have got ferns, conifers, mosses, and liverworts. When you go through these conifers, it is one of the main groups of non-flowering plants, and it is the most common one. To give an example of conifers, we have got pine. You know pine? Pine. We have got cypress. We have got cedar. We have got podo. We have got ginkgo, and we have got fir. So all those ones are examples of coniferous what? Plants. But today, let's just give examples. So if they give you an example, ask you an example of a non-flowering plant, you can give ferns, conifers, mosses, and liverworts. Then let's go. Aside on my screen, you can clearly see that is an example of ferns. It is so common in areas. So what happens? It grows. After growing, it grows. After growing, it grows. After growing, it will bear some spores. The spores are for reproduction, because all living things do what? Reproduce. Altogether, but it will not bear any flower. That's why they are called non-flowering plants. But they are also green in color, which means they have chlorophyll and they do make their own food. Okay, let's go. We have gotten, after looking at, at some of the plants which are non-flowering and some which are flowering, let's look at some of the examples of plants which are planted in the school compound. The question may come and ask you, name any one example of plants we find in your school compound. So the variety, there are very many, mainly the fruits. All the fruit plants can be found in our compound. I just listed a few of them, like the pawpaw, the avocados, mangoes, flowers. Even we have got a palm tree. I think this one is so common in our compounds, mainly the school compounds, the palm tree, as you can have a look at it. We have got the natural one, but this one is a more improved palm tree. When you move around those at your place at home, in the bush, you'll find other examples of other species of palm tree, but this one is now the main one. Okay, let's also look at the examples of plants in swamps. Some plants mainly grow in swamps, and we cannot leave them away, because the question can also come asking you to name any one plant which grows in swamps. What is a swamp? A swamp is a waterlogged area. Waterlogged means that it is having some plants, but inside down there is some water. So some plants grow in such areas. Together, the first example is papyrus. We have got yams, we have got rice and sugar canes. Mainly these plants grow in areas where there is a lot of what? Stagnant water. You can have a look at example here. I've given you an example of papyrus. We know rice, and even we know the sugar canes. Okay, let's look at this one now. We have got another example here of plants in the desert. Plants which grow in dry areas with little, areas which receive little or no rainfall. Together, an example is sisal. We have sisal there. Together, as you can see, the area is very dry, and the farmer just planted his sisal. You can see from sisal we can make from sisal we can get sisal. We can get the fibers which can be used for making ropes, making balls, making sacks, and others. Together, so that's one plant which grows in a desert. Another plant which grows in a desert is called the cactus tree or a cactus plant. It looks like this one. It has thorns on its leaves, okay, so that it does not easily dry. Together, okay, so this is a cactus, and it is so common in areas which are very dry, areas which receive little or no rainfall. That's why they are called dry areas, or that's why they are called desert areas. Then we have also gotten some plants which grow in water. Plants which grow in water. The first one, they are called the water cabbage. As you can see there in the diagram, for them they grow on top of water. Okay. Another one, we have got plants also which grow in water. It is called water hyphen. You find it on the lake on top of water when it is floating. And for you, when you don't know, you come and stand there, you will just drown there. So this is an example of water hyphen. These plants which grow on water, they are so deadly and they are not good for the reason that they kill the aquatic animals. They kill the animals which stay in water. Okay, the fish, they are unable to breathe well, since this water hyphen will come and cover the whole part of the lake. But here we are studying about it because it is an example of a plant that grows on water. It is called water hyphen. Okay, you take concern of the spelling, it is there, water hyphen. Okay, then also we have gotten a water, it's called the water what? A water lily. A water lily, it is here. Okay, the difference between a water cabbage and a water lily. The water cabbage, they always float on water, and even they have these beautiful flowers as you have in the look at them. Okay, so even we have got some plants which grow. We have got some plants which grow on rocks. Altogether, we have gotten some plants which grow on rocks. To give an example, we have got some liverworts, ferns, and mosses. Okay, what do we talk about rocks? A rock can be in form of a stone. Very big stones are called rocks, and some plants come and grow on those stones. They don't mind, as long as the place is having some little water and dampness, it will always grow well. Okay, so plants which grow on rocks, you have got liverworts, ferns, and more mosses. And according to the question which is there, we have got what we call mosses, as you can see it there. So I would like to say thank you for learning with me today. You can check on the Google Classroom to pick your work. I would like to appreciate Edify Uganda for funding our e-learning program. So I wish to end from here. I wish to say thank you, God. We have to appreciate God for the good work that He's doing. We have to thank God for keeping us alive in this pandemic. We have to thank God for making whatever we are able to make hands on. So with that, I would like to end from here, and I wish you a good day as we meet next time. Bye bye.